The bustling spa hummed with activity as Olivia kneaded the tense muscles of her client. Her fingers worked magic, easing away knots and stress, but her mind was elsewhere, fixated on her upcoming appointment with the spa's owner, Ethan Blackwood. "You're a miracle worker," her client sighed contentedly. Olivia smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. If only Mr. Blackwood saw her skills the same way. As she finished the session, a sharp voice cut through the tranquil atmosphere. "Ms. Chen, my office now." Olivia's stomach dropped. She quickly tidied up and made her way to Ethan Blackwood's opulent office. The tech mogul sat behind a massive desk, his steely gaze fixed on a tablet. "You wanted to see me, Mr. Blackwood?" He looked up, his expression a mix of irritation and disdain. "Yes, I've received complaints about your unconventional methods. This isn't some new age hippie retreat. Stick to standard techniques or find another job." Olivia bit her lip, fighting back tears. "Sir, my methods are proven effective. If you just give them a chance." "I didn't ask for your opinion," Ethan snapped. He winced, shifting in his chair. "Just do your job without the mumbo-jumbo." Dismissed. Olivia left, her cheeks burning with humiliation. As she walked back to her station, she overheard two employees whispering. "Poor girl, Blackwood's on another rampage." "Yeah, ever since his back pain got worse. Guy's a nightmare to work for." Olivia paused, an idea forming. Maybe there was a way to prove her worth after all. The next day, Olivia arrived early, determined to put her plan into action. She approached Ethan's personal assistant, a harried-looking woman named Sarah. "Excuse me, I was wondering if Mr. Blackwood had any openings in his massage schedule today." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "Are you sure? He's been in a foul mood all morning. His back is killing him." Olivia nodded firmly. "I'm sure. I think I can help." Sarah shrugged. "Your funeral. He has a slot at 2 p.m. The hours crawled by as Olivia prepared, mentally rehearsing her approach. At precisely 2 p.m., she knocked on Ethan's private massage room door. "Come in," he barked. Olivia entered, her heart racing. Ethan lay face down on the massage table, his muscular back tense and knotted. "Mr. Blackwood, I know you're not happy with my methods, but please give me one chance. If I can't help your back pain, I'll resign immediately." Ethan turned his head, eyes narrowing. "Bold move, Miss Chen. Fine. You have 30 minutes to impress me." Olivia took a deep breath and began. Her hands moved with practiced precision, incorporating techniques she'd learned from masters around the world. She focused on Ethan's energy points, using pressure and movement to realign his body's natural flow. At first, Ethan remained rigid, skepticism radiating from every pore. But as Olivia worked, she felt his muscles gradually relax. His breathing deepened, and the crease between his brows smoothed out. 25 minutes in, Olivia applied the final touches of her unique blend of techniques. She stepped back, heart pounding. "How do you feel, Mr. Blackwood?" Ethan slowly sat up, his face a mask of confusion. He rotated his shoulders, then twisted at the waist. His eyes widened in disbelief. "The pain, it's gone. How did you—" Olivia beamed. "A combination of different holistic approaches, sir. I'd be happy to explain." "No need," Ethan cut her off, but his tone lacked its usual bite. "You've bought yourself some more time, Miss Chen. We'll continue these sessions and see how it goes." As Olivia left the room, she couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, she'd found a way to break through Ethan Blackwood's icy exterior. Over the next few weeks, Olivia's sessions with Ethan became a regular occurrence. Though he remained brusque and dismissive, she noticed subtle changes. The tension in his shoulders eased, and occasionally she caught a glimpse of vulnerability in his eyes. One day, as Olivia finished a particularly intense session, Ethan spoke up. "Where did you learn these techniques?" Olivia hesitated, then decided to take a chance. "I've studied with healers all over the world, sir. From Chinese acupressurists to Indian yoga masters. I've always been fascinated by the body's ability to heal itself." Ethan was quiet for a moment. "And you gave up all that to work in a spa?" "I wanted to bring these techniques to people who might not otherwise experience them," Olivia explained. "To show that holistic healing isn't just for the wealthy or the spiritual, it's for everyone." Something flickered in Ethan's eyes. Respect, perhaps, but it vanished as quickly as it appeared. Well, as long as it keeps working, I don't care where you learned it. Same time tomorrow. As Olivia left, she couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted between them. Whether it was for better or worse remained to be seen. Later that evening, as Olivia was packing up to leave, she overheard Ethan talking on the phone in his office. Yes, the pain is much better. No, I haven't been back to Dr. Stevens. I've found alternative treatment. Olivia smiled to herself, a warm feeling spreading through her chest. She was making a difference, even if Ethan wouldn't admit it. As she turned to go, she bumped into Sarah, Ethan's assistant. "Oh, Olivia, I'm glad I caught you," Sarah said, lowering her voice. "I just wanted to say, whatever you're doing with Mr. Blackwood, keep it up. He's been almost bearable lately." Olivia laughed. "I'm just doing my job." Sarah shook her head. "It's more than that. I haven't seen him this relaxed in years. You're working miracles." As Olivia headed home, she felt a mix of pride and trepidation. She was helping Ethan, but at what cost? Could she maintain this delicate balance, or was she setting herself up for disappointment? Little did she know her relationship with Ethan Blackwood was about to take an unexpected turn. "Olivia, wait!" Sarah called out just as Olivia was about to exit the building. "Mr. Blackwood wants to see you in his office first thing tomorrow morning." Olivia froze, her heart skipping a beat. "Did he say why?" Sarah shook her head. "No, but he seemed different, almost excited. That's new for him." Olivia nodded, her mind racing. "Thanks, Sarah, I'll be there." As she stepped out into the cool evening air, Olivia couldn't help but wonder, what did Ethan Blackwood have in store for her? Olivia arrived at the spa early the next morning, her stomach in knots. She knocked on Ethan's office door, steeling herself for whatever lay ahead. "Come in," Ethan called out, his voice lacking its usual sharp edge. Olivia entered, surprised to find Ethan standing by the window instead of behind his imposing desk. He turned to face her, and she was struck by the change in his demeanor. The perpetual frown lines had softened, and there was a glimmer of something new in his eyes. Excitement, perhaps? "Ms. Chen," he began, then paused. "Olivia, I've been doing some thinking." Olivia held her breath, waiting for him to continue. "Your techniques have done more for me in a few weeks than years of expensive treatments," Ethan admitted. "It's made me realize there might be a bigger opportunity here." He gestured for her to sit, then perched on the edge of his desk. "I want to expand the spa, create a holistic wellness center that combines your methods with cutting-edge technology, and I want you to lead it." Olivia's jaw dropped. "Mr. Blackwood, I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Ethan pressed. "This could revolutionize the wellness industry. Make these treatments accessible to more people, just like you wanted." Olivia's mind raced. It was everything she'd ever dreamed of, but something held her back. "Can I have some time to think about it?" Ethan's expression darkened slightly. "Of course, but don't take too long. Opportunities like this don't come along every day." As Olivia left the office, her head spinning, she nearly collided with Sarah. "Well?" Sarah asked eagerly. "What did he want?" Olivia shook her head, still in disbelief. "He offered me a promotion, to lead a new holistic wellness center." Sarah's eyes widened. "Olivia, that's amazing. But why don't you look happier?" Olivia sighed. "It's a big change, and I can't shake the feeling that there's more to it than he's telling me." Sarah squeezed her arm sympathetically. "Trust your instincts, but also remember, this could be your big break." Over the next few days, Olivia threw herself into her work, trying to sort out her feelings about Ethan's offer. She couldn't deny the thrill of potentially reaching more people with her techniques, but something about Ethan's sudden change of heart nagged at her. During their next session, Ethan broke the silence that usually accompanied their treatments. "Have you given any more thought to my proposal?" Olivia's hands stilled on his back. "I have, Mr. Blackwood. It's a generous offer, but I have some concerns." Ethan tensed under her touch. "Such as, well, for one, how would this center operate? Would it be accessible to people of all income levels, or just the wealthy?" Ethan was quiet for a moment. "We'd have to make it profitable, of course, but I'm open to ideas for making it more inclusive." Olivia resumed her massage, working out a particularly stubborn knot. And what about the techniques themselves? Would I have full control over the treatments offered? Within reason, Ethan hedged. We'd need to ensure everything meets certain standards. As the session ended, Ethan sat up, fixing Olivia with an intense gaze. Look, I know we've had our differences, but I'm offering you a chance to make a real difference. Don't let your doubts hold you back. Olivia nodded, not trusting herself to speak. As she left the room, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was standing on the edge of a precipice, unsure whether to leap or step back. That evening, as Olivia was tidying up her station, she overheard two executives talking in hushed tones nearby. Blackwood's really pushing this wellness center idea, one said. He thinks it could be bigger than the tech division. The other scoffed. Please. He just wants to cash in on the latest health craze. You know how he operates. Find something promising, squeeze it for all it's worth, then move on to the next big thing. Olivia's blood ran cold. Was that all this was to Ethan? Just another business venture to exploit? She was so lost in thought that she didn't notice Sarah approaching until the other woman tapped her on the shoulder. Earth to Olivia, Sarah said with a smile. You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. Olivia forced a smile. Just tired, I guess. Long day. Sarah's expression turned serious. Listen, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but I overheard Mr. Blackwood on the phone earlier. He was talking about patenting some new wellness techniques. I think he might be planning to use your methods and products or something. Olivia's heart sank. Her worst fears were being confirmed. Thanks for telling me, Sarah. I appreciate it. As she left the spa that night, Olivia's mind was made up. She needed to confront Ethan and get the truth, once and for all. The next morning, Olivia marched into Ethan's office without knocking. He looked up from his computer, startled. Ms. Chen, what? Is it true? Olivia demanded, her voice shaking. Are you planning to patent my techniques and sell them without giving me credit? Ethan's face hardened. Where did you hear that? It doesn't matter, Olivia pressed. Is it true? Ethan stood, his imposing figure looming over her. Business is business, Ms. Chen. Your techniques, combined with our resources and reach, could help millions of people. Isn't that what you wanted? Olivia felt tears pricking at her eyes. Not like this. These methods aren't just products to be packaged and sold. They're about connection, about healing. You can't just commodify that. Can't I? Ethan challenged. Isn't that exactly what you do every day in this spa? Olivia recoiled as if she'd been slapped. That's different. I work with people directly. You take their money in exchange for your services, Ethan interrupted. How is that any different from what I'm proposing, just on a larger scale? Olivia shook her head, feeling as though the ground was crumbling beneath her feet. Because it's not about the money for me. It's about helping people, about sharing knowledge that's been passed down for generations. You can't patent that. Ethan's expression softened slightly. Olivia, I'm offering you a chance to share your gift with the world. Don't throw that away because of some misguided idealism. For a moment, Olivia wavered. The promise of reaching more people, of spreading her techniques far and wide, was tempting. But as she looked into Ethan's eyes, she saw not a partner, but a businessman looking at his next big profit. I'm sorry, Mr. Blackwood, she said quietly, but I can't be a part of this. I quit. As she turned to leave, Ethan called out, his voice tinged with a mix of anger and desperation. You're making a mistake, Olivia. You'll never have an opportunity like this again. Olivia paused at the door, looking back at the man she'd once admired. Maybe not, but I'll be able to look at myself in the mirror. Goodbye, Mr. Blackwood. As she walked out of the office, head held high, Olivia felt a strange mix of loss and liberation. She had no idea what the future held, but she knew one thing for certain. Her journey was far from over. Sarah caught up with her in the hallway, concern etched on her face. Olivia, what happened? Are you okay? Olivia took a deep breath, feeling lighter than she had in weeks. I quit, Sarah. I couldn't be a part of what he was planning. Sarah's eyes widened. But what will you do now? Olivia smiled, a plan already forming in her mind. I'm going to start my own practice, one that stays true to the principles I believe in." As she gathered her belongings, Olivia's mind raced with possibilities. She had no idea of the challenges that lay ahead, or how her path would cross with Ethan Blackwood's again. But for now, she was ready to embark on a new chapter, one where she could heal on her own terms. "Good luck, Olivia," Sarah said, giving her a quick hug. "For what it's worth, I think you're doing the right thing." Olivia nodded gratefully. "Thanks, Sarah. I hope so." As she stepped out of the spa for the last time, Olivia took a deep breath of the crisp morning air. A new day was dawning, full of uncertainty, but also possibility. Little did she know, her decision would set in motion a chain of events that would not only change her life, but shake the very foundations of the wellness industry. "Wait, Olivia," Sarah called out, rushing after her. "There's something else you should know." Olivia turned, her hand on the door. "What is it, Sarah?" Sarah glanced around nervously before lowering her voice. "Mr. Blackwood. He's been keeping files on all your techniques, detailed notes, diagrams, everything. I think he's been planning this for weeks." Olivia felt the blood drain from her face. "How do you know this?" "I've seen the files," Sarah admitted. "He had me organize them. Olivia, I think he's going to try to move forward with his plans, with or without you." Olivia's mind raced. She had to do something, but what? "Thank you for telling me, Sarah. I need to think about what to do next." As Olivia left the building, her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Meet me at Riverside Park in an hour. I can help. E.B." Olivia stared at the message, her heart pounding. Should she trust Ethan after everything that had happened? But if he really was planning to steal her techniques, she needed to know more. An hour later, Olivia found herself sitting on a park bench, watching joggers and dog walkers pass by. She jumped when a voice spoke from behind her. "Thank you for coming." Ethan Blackwood sat down beside her, looking nothing like the polished businessman she was used to. His hair was disheveled, and dark circles shadowed his eyes. "Why am I here, Mr. Blackwood?" Olivia asked, keeping her voice steady. Ethan sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I owe you an apology, Olivia." "And an explanation?" He pulled out a tablet, tapping the screen a few times before handing it to her. Olivia's eyes widened as she saw page after page of detailed notes on her techniques. "You've been spying on me," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "At first, yes," Ethan admitted. "But as I learned more, I realized the true value of what you do. It's not just about the techniques themselves. It's about the way you connect with people, the energy you bring to the healing process." Olivia looked at him skeptically. "So why the secret files? Why try to patent my methods?" Ethan's expression hardened. "Because there are others out there who would exploit what you do without a second thought. I thought by commercializing it first, we could control how it was used, make sure it wasn't corrupted." Olivia shook her head. "That's not your decision to make. These techniques aren't meant to be controlled or commercialized. They're meant to be shared, to evolve naturally." "I see that now," Ethan said softly. "That's why I wanted to meet. I want to make this right." He pulled out a stack of papers from his briefcase. "This is everything I've collected on your techniques. Notes, diagrams, potential patent applications. It's all yours. Do with it what you will." Olivia took the papers with trembling hands. "Why are you giving me this?" Ethan stood, looking out over the park. "Because you were right. This isn't just about business. It's about healing, about making a real difference in people's lives. I lost sight of that, caught up in the potential profits, but you never did." He turned back to her, a hint of vulnerability in his eyes. "I want to help you, Olivia, not as a boss or an investor, but as a partner, if you'll have me." Olivia stared at him, trying to reconcile this new Ethan with the arrogant businessman she thought she knew. "I don't know if I can trust you," she said honestly. Ethan nodded. "I understand. I haven't given you much reason to, but I'm asking for a chance to prove myself, to help you build something truly revolutionary, on your terms." As Olivia considered his words, her phone buzzed again. It was a message from Sarah. "Whatever he's telling you, be careful. The board is pushing hard for the wellness center. They see dollar signs, not people." Olivia showed Ethan the message. His face fell. She's right. The board. They don't understand what we're trying to do. They just see potential profits. So what do we do? Olivia asked. Ethan's eyes lit up with a familiar intensity, but this time, it wasn't fueled by greed. It was something else entirely. We show them there's a better way. A way to help people and be successful without compromising our values. Over the next few weeks, Olivia and Ethan worked tirelessly to develop a new business model. They envisioned a network of small, community-based wellness centers that would offer Olivia's holistic techniques, alongside more traditional treatments. The centers would operate on a sliding scale, ensuring accessibility for people from all walks of life. As they worked, Olivia saw a different side of Ethan emerge. The arrogance and dismissiveness were replaced by genuine curiosity and a drive to understand the deeper principles behind her methods. He threw himself into learning, often staying late into the night to discuss energy flows and chakra alignments. One evening, as they pored over financial projections, Ethan suddenly sat back, rubbing his eyes. "You know, I never thanked you properly." Olivia looked up, surprised. "For what?" "For not giving up on me," Ethan said softly. "Even when I was at my worst, you saw something worth saving. You healed more than just my back pain, Olivia." Olivia felt a warmth spread through her chest. That's what true healing is about. Seeing the whole person, not just the symptoms. Ethan nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. "I'm beginning to understand that now." As they continued to work, word of their project began to spread. Other holistic practitioners reached out, eager to be part of something that aligned with their values. Even some of Ethan's former business associates, intrigued by the new direction, offered support. But not everyone was pleased with this new venture. The board of Ethan's company, seeing their potential goldmine slipping away, grew increasingly hostile. Olivia and Ethan faced roadblock after roadblock as they tried to move forward with their plans. One day, as they left a particularly grueling meeting with the board, Ethan turned to Olivia, his face set with resolve. "I think it's time for a more drastic move." Olivia raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "I'm thinking of stepping down as CEO," Ethan said. "Selling my shares and putting everything into our new venture. It's the only way to break free from the board's influence." Olivia stared at him in shock. "Ethan, are you sure? You've built this company from the ground up?" He nodded, a weight seeming to lift from his shoulders. "I'm sure. For the first time in years, I feel like I'm doing something truly meaningful. I don't want to let that go." As they walked out of the building, a commotion near the entrance caught their attention. A group of protesters had gathered, holding signs decrying the commercialization of traditional healing practices. Olivia and Ethan exchanged a look. This was exactly the kind of misunderstanding they were trying to prevent. Without a word, they approached the group. "Excuse me," Olivia called out. "I think there's been a misunderstanding. Can we talk?" The protesters eyed them suspiciously, but a few nodded. As Olivia and Ethan explained their vision, a network of accessible, community-focused wellness centers that respected traditional practices, the mood began to shift. "So you're not trying to patent these techniques?" one protester asked. Ethan shook his head. "No. We believe this knowledge should be shared, not owned. We just want to create spaces where people can access these healing methods, regardless of their background or income." By the end of the impromptu meeting, several of the protesters had offered to help spread the word about the true nature of their project. As the crowd dispersed, Olivia turned to Ethan, a mix of awe and admiration in her eyes. "You handled that beautifully," she said. "A few months ago, you would have called security to remove them." Ethan chuckled. "A few months ago, I wouldn't have cared what they thought. You've changed me, Olivia, in more ways than I think you realize." As they walked back to their office, a comfortable silence fell between them. The path ahead was still uncertain, filled with challenges and potential setbacks. But for the first time, Olivia felt truly confident in their partnership and their shared vision. Little did they know, their biggest challenge was yet to come, one that would test not only their business acumen, but the very foundation of their newfound trust and understanding. As they reached the office door, Ethan's phone buzzed. His face paled as he read the message. "Olivia, we have a problem." Olivia's heart raced as she watched Ethan's expression darken. "What is it?" Ethan's jaw clenched as he showed her the message. "The board has called an emergency meeting. They're voting to remove me as CEO and push forward with the original wellness center plan." Olivia's stomach dropped. "Can they do that?" "They can try," Ethan said, his voice low and determined. "But I'm not going down without a fight." They rushed to the boardroom, arriving just as the meeting was called to order. The tension in the air was palpable as Ethan and Olivia took their seats. Marcus Hendricks, the head of the board, fixed Ethan with a cold stare. "Mr. Blackwood, it's come to our attention that you intend to radically alter the direction of this company. We believe this decision is not in the best interest of our shareholders." Ethan leaned forward, his voice steady. "With all due respect, Marcus, I believe our new direction is not only ethically sound, but also financially viable. If you'll allow me to present our projections." "We've seen the projections," another board member interrupted. "They're idealistic at best, delusional at worst. This company was built on innovation and profit, not feel-good hippie nonsense." Olivia felt her cheeks burn, but before she could respond, Ethan spoke up. "That hippie nonsense has the potential to revolutionize the wellness industry," he said firmly. "We have an opportunity to create something truly meaningful, something that could help millions of people." Marcus scoffed. "And what about our investors, our employees? Are we supposed to risk everything on your newfound altruism?" Ethan stood, his presence commanding the room. "I'm not asking you to risk anything. I'm offering to buy out the company's stake in this project. Let me take it forward independently, and you can continue with business as usual." A murmur rippled through the room. Marcus's eyes narrowed. "And where exactly do you plan to get the funds for this buyout?" "I'm selling my shares," Ethan said quietly. "All of them." The room erupted in shocked whispers. Olivia stared at Ethan, realizing the full extent of what he was willing to sacrifice for their vision. Marcus banged his gavel, calling for order. "This is absurd, Ethan. You've built this company from the ground up. Are you really willing to throw it all away for some misguided crusade?" Ethan's gaze swept the room, finally landing on Olivia. In that moment, she saw not the arrogant CEO she'd first met, but a man who had found a new purpose. "It's not a crusade," Ethan said softly. "It's a calling. And yes, I'm willing to risk everything for it." The board deliberated for hours, their voices rising and falling behind closed doors. Olivia and Ethan waited outside, the silence between them heavy with unspoken words. Finally, Marcus emerged, his face unreadable. "We've reached a decision. The board will accept your buyout offer, Ethan, on one condition." Ethan tensed. "What condition?" Marcus's lips curled into a small smile. "You have 6 months to prove the viability of your new venture. If you fail to meet the financial projections you've presented, the company retains the right to pursue the original wellness center plan, using all the research and techniques you've developed." Olivia gasped. "But that's—" "Agreed," Ethan interrupted, his voice firm. Marcus nodded, extending his hand. "Then we have a deal. Good luck, Ethan. You're going to need it." As they left the building, Olivia turned to Ethan, her mind reeling. "Are you sure about this? We're risking everything." Ethan took a deep breath, looking out at the city skyline. "I've never been more sure of anything in my life. But Olivia, I need to know, are you with me? Really with me? Because this isn't going to be easy." Olivia reached out, taking his hand in hers. The gesture surprised them both, but neither pulled away. "I'm with you, Ethan, all the way." The next few months were a whirlwind of activity. Olivia and Ethan worked around the clock, securing locations for their first wellness centers, training staff in Olivia's holistic techniques, and developing a marketing strategy that emphasized community and accessibility over luxury and exclusivity. They faced countless setbacks. Permits were delayed, equipment deliveries went missing, and former business associates of Ethan spread rumors about the viability of their venture. But through it all, Olivia and Ethan's partnership grew stronger. One evening, as they sat surrounded by blueprints and financial reports, Ethan looked up at Olivia, a soft smile on his face. "You know, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm actually enjoying the struggle." Olivia laughed. "Who are you, and what have you done with Ethan Blackwood?" He chuckled, shaking his head. "I'm serious. For years, success came easy, but this feels like we're actually building something worthwhile." Olivia nodded, understanding exactly what he meant. "It's because we're not just building a business, we're building a community." As the 6-month deadline approached, their first wellness center was ready to open. The night before the grand opening, Olivia and Ethan stood in the empty space, taking in the fruit of their labor. "It's beautiful," Olivia whispered, running her hand along the smooth wood of a massage table. Ethan nodded, his eyes scanning the room. "It is, but will it be enough?" Olivia turned to him, seeing the worry lines etched on his face. "Hey," she said softly, placing a hand on his arm. "Whatever happens tomorrow, we've already succeeded. We've created something true to our values, something that can really help people." Ethan covered her hand with his, their eyes meeting. For a moment, the air between them crackled with unspoken emotion. But before either could speak, Ethan's phone buzzed, breaking the spell. He checked the message, his face paling. "It's Marcus. The board wants to move up their evaluation. They're coming tomorrow, during the opening." Olivia's heart sank. "But we won't have any real financial data yet. How can they evaluate us fairly?" Ethan's jaw set in a determined line. "They can't, but we're not going to let that stop us. We'll just have to show them something they can't ignore." The next morning, Olivia and Ethan arrived early, making sure everything was perfect for the opening. As the doors opened, they were surprised to see a line of people already waiting. "We're not supposed to open for another hour," Olivia said, confused. An elderly woman at the front of the line stepped forward. "Are you Olivia, the one who does those amazing massages?" Olivia nodded, still bewildered. The woman smiled. "Word's been spreading about what you're doing here. We've all come to support you." Tears pricked at Olivia's eyes as she looked at the diverse group of people waiting to enter. Young, old, from all walks of life, this was exactly what they had dreamed of. As the day progressed, the center buzzed with activity. Olivia moved from room to room, guiding treatments and sharing her knowledge with both staff and clients. Ethan, to her surprise, rolled up his sleeves and pitched in wherever he was needed, from manning the front desk to helping with setup. Midday, Marcus and the board members arrived, their faces a mix of skepticism and curiosity. Ethan greeted them, his confidence evident as he led them on a tour. As they passed the main treatment room, Olivia's voice drifted out, warm and soothing. "Remember, healing isn't just about the body. It's about reconnecting with yourself, finding balance in all aspects of your life." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Impressive words, but where are the numbers, Ethan? How do you quantify this reconnection?" Before Ethan could respond, a young man exited the room, his eyes bright with unshed tears. "Excuse me," he said, addressing the group. "I don't know about numbers, but I can tell you this. I came in here with chronic pain I've had for years. For the first time in I don't know how long, I feel hope." "You can't put a price on that." Marcus blinked, clearly taken aback. As they continued the tour, more clients approached, sharing similar stories of relief and renewal. By the end of the day, as Olivia and Ethan said goodbye to the last client, they turned to face Marcus and the board, exhausted but proud. Marcus cleared his throat. "Well, I must say, this isn't quite what I expected." Ethan stepped forward. "I know it's not the data you came for, Marcus, but I hope you've seen the real value of what we're creating here." Marcus was quiet for a moment, his eyes scanning the now empty center. Finally, he spoke. "We'll need to see the financial reports, of course, but I think you might be onto something here, Ethan." As the board members filed out, Olivia and Ethan exchanged a look of cautious optimism. They had cleared the first hurdle, but the real challenge was just beginning. Olivia reached out, squeezing Ethan's hand. "We did it." Ethan nodded, a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration on his face. "We did. But something tells me our journey is far from over." As they locked up the center, neither could have predicted the challenges and triumphs that lay ahead. or how their relationship would continue to evolve in the face of it all. Ethan's phone buzzed one last time as they were leaving. He read the message, his expression unreadable. "Olivia, there's something we need to discuss." Olivia felt a knot form in her stomach. "What is it, Ethan?" He hesitated, then showed her the message. It was from a major health and wellness conglomerate, expressing interest in partnering with their fledgling enterprise. "This could be huge for us," Ethan said, his voice a mix of excitement and uncertainty. "Their resources could help us expand faster than we ever dreamed." Olivia frowned, reading the message again. "But at what cost? We've worked so hard to keep this true to our vision. A big corporation might try to change everything." Ethan nodded, running a hand through his hair. "I know. That's why I wanted to discuss it with you first. We're partners in this, Olivia. We make decisions together." The word partners sent a warm flutter through Olivia's chest, but she pushed the feeling aside. They had more pressing matters to focus on. "Let's sleep on it," she suggested. "We can discuss it more tomorrow with clear heads." Ethan agreed, and they parted ways for the night. But sleep eluded Olivia as she tossed and turned, her mind racing with possibilities and concerns. The next morning, they met at their favorite coffee shop, both looking a bit worse for wear. As they sipped their drinks, Ethan broke the silence. "I've been thinking about the offer all night," he began, "and I think we should at least hear them out." Olivia nodded slowly. "I agree, but we need to be careful. We can't compromise on our core values." They spent the next week preparing for the meeting, outlining their non-negotiables, and discussing potential areas of collaboration. When the day finally arrived, they entered the sleek corporate offices of Wellness United, a stark contrast to their cozy center. CEO Victoria Reeves greeted them with a dazzling smile. "Ethan, Olivia, it's wonderful to meet you both. We've been following your work with great interest." As they sat down to discuss the potential partnership, Victoria laid out an impressive plan for rapid expansion and integration of their holistic techniques into Wellness United's existing network of high-end spas. "With our resources and your innovative approach, we could revolutionize the industry," Victoria enthused. "We're prepared to offer you a very generous compensation package." Olivia and Ethan exchanged a glance. The numbers were indeed impressive, but something felt off. "Ms. Reeves," Olivia began carefully, "your offer is very kind. But can you tell us more about how you envision maintaining the accessibility of our treatments? We've worked hard to ensure people from all walks of life can benefit from our approach." Victoria's smile faltered slightly. "Well, of course, we'd need to adjust pricing to reflect the premium nature of our brand. But think of the exposure you'd get. Your techniques could reach a whole new clientele." Ethan leaned forward, his brow furrowed. "With all due respect, Ms. Reeves, reaching a new clientele isn't our goal. We want to help as many people as possible, not just those who can afford luxury prices." The meeting continued, with Victoria trying to sway them with promises of cutting-edge technology and marketing campaigns. But with each proposal, it became clearer that Wellness United's vision was fundamentally at odds with Olivia and Ethan's. As they left the building, Ethan let out a long breath. "Well, that was a disaster?" Olivia supplied, a wry smile on her face. Ethan chuckled. "I was going to say enlightening, but yeah, disaster works too." They walked in comfortable silence for a while, both lost in thought. Finally, Olivia spoke up. "You know, a year ago, you would have jumped at that offer without a second thought." Ethan nodded, a rueful expression on his face. "A year ago, I was a different person. You've changed me, Olivia. Shown me there's more to success than just profits." Olivia felt her cheeks warm at his words. "We've changed each other. I never thought I'd be running a business, let alone turning down million-dollar offers." As they reached a small park, Ethan gestured to a bench. They sat down, watching the world go by for a moment. "So what now?" Olivia asked. Ethan turned to her, a determined glint in his eye. "Now we prove we can do this our way. No shortcuts, no selling out. Just honest, accessible healing for everyone who needs it." Olivia smiled, feeling a surge of affection for this man who had become so much more than just her business partner. "I like the sound of that. Over the next few months, their center flourished. Word spread about their unique approach and affordable prices, drawing people from all walks of life. They hired more staff, training them in Olivia's techniques and Ethan's newly developed business ethics. But their success didn't go unnoticed. One day, as Olivia was finishing up a treatment, she overheard two clients talking in the waiting room. "I heard Wellness United is opening a new holistic healing center just down the street," one said. "Apparently, it's going to be just like this place, but fancier." Olivia's heart sank. She found Ethan in his office, buried in paperwork. "We have a problem," she said, relaying what she'd heard. Ethan's face darkened. "They're copying us? After we turned them down?" Olivia nodded grimly. "What are we going to do?" Ethan was quiet for a moment, then a slow smile spread across his face. "We're going to beat them at their own game." Over the next few weeks, they threw themselves into enhancing their center. But instead of trying to match Wellness United's luxury approach, they doubled down on community engagement. They started free workshops teaching simple techniques people could use at home. They partnered with local schools and community centers, bringing their holistic approach to those who might never have sought it out. The day Wellness United's new center opened, Olivia and Ethan watched from across the street as a small crowd of well-heeled clients entered the gleaming building. "Looks like they've got some interest," Olivia said, trying to keep the worry out of her voice. Ethan squeezed her shoulder. "Give it time." Sure enough, as the weeks passed, they began to notice a shift. Some of Wellness United's clients started trickling into their center, drawn by the genuine warmth and effective treatments. Many commented on the stark difference in atmosphere and approach. One evening, as they were closing up, a familiar face walked through the door. It was Victoria Reeves, looking decidedly less polished than she had in her corporate office. "I hope I'm not too late for a treatment," she said, her voice lacking its usual confidence. "I've been having these terrible migraines and nothing seems to help." Olivia and Ethan exchanged a surprised glance. "Of course," Olivia said warmly. "Come on in." As Olivia worked her magic, she could feel the tension melting from Victoria's body. When the session ended, Victoria sat up, looking more relaxed than they'd ever seen her. "That was incredible," she said softly. "I haven't felt this good in years." Ethan stepped forward. "Victoria, can we talk?" Over cups of herbal tea, Victoria opened up about the pressure she'd been under to make the new center successful. "But it's all smoke and mirrors," she admitted. "We don't have the heart of what you've created here." Olivia and Ethan shared a look, a silent conversation passing between them. Finally, Ethan spoke. "What if we worked together? Not a takeover, not a buyout, a true partnership. You have the resources and reach, we have the techniques and the community approach. Together, we could create something truly revolutionary." Victoria's eyes widened. "You'd be willing to do that, after how we treated you?" Olivia smiled. "It's not about holding grudges. It's about helping as many people as we can. Isn't that what really matters?" As they hammered out the beginnings of a plan, Olivia couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. From a skeptical CEO and a frustrated massage therapist to partners in a venture that could change countless lives. Later that night, as they locked up the center, Ethan turned to Olivia, his eyes soft in the dim light. "You know, we make a pretty good team." Olivia felt her heart skip a beat. "Yeah, we do." For a moment they stood there, the air between them charged with unspoken emotions. Then Ethan cleared his throat, breaking the spell. "We should celebrate," he said. "Dinner tomorrow night?" Olivia nodded, trying to ignore the flutter in her stomach. "Sounds perfect." As they parted ways, both felt the subtle shift in their relationship. Their partnership had grown into something deeper, something neither had expected, but both welcomed. What they didn't know was that their biggest challenge and greatest opportunity was just around the corner. One that would test not only their business acumen, but also the strength of their growing bond. Ethan's phone buzzed as he got into his car. He read the message, his eyes widening. "Oh no," he muttered. "Olivia's not going to like this." The next evening, Olivia arrived at the restaurant, her heart fluttering with anticipation. She spotted Ethan at a corner table, his face a mix of emotions she couldn't quite read. "Is everything okay?" she asked as she sat down. "You seem off." Ethan took a deep breath. "Olivia, there's something I need to tell you. I received a message yesterday, right after we parted ways." He pulled out his phone, showing her an email. It was from a prestigious medical journal, expressing interest in publishing an article about their holistic healing techniques. Olivia's eyes widened. "Ethan, that's amazing. This could give our methods real scientific credibility." But Ethan's frown deepened. "There's a catch. They want detailed explanations of all our techniques. Everything." Olivia felt her excitement deflate. "But that's like asking a chef for their secret recipes. These methods have been passed down through generations. They're not meant to be dissected and published." Ethan nodded. "I know. That's why I wanted to discuss it with you first. This could be a huge opportunity for us, but I understand your reservations." As they talked it over, their food grew cold, forgotten. The dilemma seemed impossible. Share their secrets and gain widespread recognition, or protect the integrity of their methods and risk remaining on the fringes of mainstream acceptance. "What if," Olivia said slowly, an idea forming, "we wrote the article ourselves? We could explain the philosophy behind our approach without giving away every detail. Show the medical community that there's value in what we do, even if they don't understand every aspect of it." Ethan's eyes lit up. "That's brilliant, Olivia. We could bridge the gap between traditional and modern medicine without compromising our principles." As they finally dug into their meals, the conversation shifted to lighter topics. Olivia found herself laughing more than she had in years. Captivated by Ethan's wit and charm, she realized with a start that she was seeing a side of him she'd never known existed beneath his former corporate exterior. As the evening wound down, they walked together along the river, the city lights twinkling on the water. Ethan stopped, turning to face Olivia. "You know," he said softly, "I never thanked you properly." Olivia tilted her head. "For what?" "For seeing the best in me even when I was at my worst. For not giving up on me." His eyes met hers, filled with an intensity that took her breath away. "For showing me what really matters in life." Before Olivia could respond, Ethan leaned in, his lips meeting hers in a gentle kiss. For a moment the world around them faded away, and everything felt right. But as they pulled apart, reality came crashing back. Olivia stepped back, her mind reeling. "Ethan, we can't. What about the business, our partnership?" Ethan's face fell. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. I thought you felt the same way." Olivia felt tears pricking at her eyes. "I do, but it's complicated. We've worked so hard to build this. I don't want to risk ruining everything." They parted ways that night, both hearts heavy with unspoken words and unfulfilled desires. The next few weeks were tense as they threw themselves into writing the article for the medical journal. They worked side by side, their professional rapport intact, but an undercurrent of awkwardness coloring every interaction. Finally, the day came to submit their work. As Ethan hit send on the email, they both let out a breath they didn't realize they'd been holding. "Now we wait," Ethan said, offering a small smile. The response came faster than they expected. The journal not only wanted to publish their article, but also invited them to speak at an upcoming international conference on integrative medicine. As they prepared for the conference, Olivia and Ethan found their rhythm again, their shared passion for their work overshadowing the personal tension between them. They practiced their presentation tirelessly, fine-tuning every detail. The day of the conference arrived, and as they took the stage, Olivia felt a surge of pride. Looking out at the sea of medical professionals, she realized how far they'd come from that first contentious massage session in Ethan's office. Their presentation was a hit. Doctors and researchers approached them afterward, eager to learn more about their methods. But one conversation stood out. An elderly doctor, his eyes twinkling with wisdom, pulled them aside. "You two have something special here," he said. "Not just your techniques, but your partnership. The way you balance each other, challenge each other. It's rare to see such harmony in both personal and professional relationships." His words hung in the air as he walked away. leaving Olivia and Ethan to ponder their meaning. That night, as they celebrated their success in the hotel bar, the energy between them shifted. The walls they'd built over the past weeks began to crumble. "Olivia," Ethan said, his voice low, "I think we need to talk about what happened that night by the river." Olivia nodded, her heart racing. "You're right, we can't keep ignoring it." They found a quiet corner, away from the crowd. Ethan took her hands in his touch sending sparks through her body. "I meant what I said that night," he began. "You've changed my life in ways I never thought possible, and I've fallen in love with you." Olivia felt tears welling up. "Ethan, I love you too, but I'm scared. What if it doesn't work out? What happens to everything we've built?" Ethan smiled softly. "Life is full of risks, Olivia. But I think what we have, both personally and professionally, is worth taking a chance on. We've faced every other challenge together. Why not this one?" As Olivia looked into his eyes, she saw not the arrogant CEO she'd first met, but a partner, a friend, and now, potentially, something more. She realized that their journey had been leading to this moment all along. "You're right," she said, a smile breaking through her tears. "We're stronger together, in every way." Their lips met, and this time there was no hesitation, no holding back. It felt like coming home. The next morning, as they prepared to head back home, Olivia's phone buzzed with a news alert. Her eyes widened as she read the headline. "Ethan, look at this," she said, showing him the phone. The article detailed a growing movement in the medical community, inspired by their conference presentation, to integrate holistic healing techniques into mainstream practice. Doctors and researchers around the world were reaching out, eager to learn and collaborate. Ethan grinned, pulling Olivia close. "Looks like we've started a revolution." Olivia laughed, her heart full. Who would have thought? A stubborn CEO and a passionate massage therapist changing the world. As they boarded their flight home hand in hand, both Olivia and Ethan knew that this was just the beginning of their journey. There would be challenges ahead, both personal and professional, but they would face them together. Their story had come full circle. From adversaries to partners, from partners to lovers, they had found in each other not just healing for themselves, but a way to bring healing to the world. As the plane took off, carrying them back to their center and the community they'd built, Olivia rested her head on Ethan's shoulder. She thought about all the lives they'd touched, all the barriers they'd broken, and all the possibilities that lay ahead. In that moment, she realized that true healing wasn't just about techniques or treatments. It was about connection, understanding, and love. And together, she and Ethan had found the perfect balance of all three. The end of their old story was just the beginning of a new one. A story of two people who found each other, changed each other, and in doing so, changed the world around them. As they soared through the clouds, Olivia and Ethan looked forward to writing every new chapter together, one healing touch at a time.